Sometimes you have to step away from everything just to remember who you are. The desert doesn't give you peace, it makes you earn it.
All right, everybody, we're out here on the off-grid, and this place has been my pride and joy for several years. I choose to live off-grid. I don't want to conform to the restrictions of society. I like to have the adventure of doing my own thing, building my own systems, having freedom, and being away from the toxicity of society. Out here, I've been able to do what I want to do and find the space and peace in mind to help me pursue my endeavors and art. So I'm out here on 5 acres of land out in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and I have a 3-bedroom model home house that I've restored and remodeled to what it is now. Down there I have a Quonset hut. It's a 50 by 100 foot Quonset hut that is a World War II era storage facility.
This house taught me balance, structure on the outside, freedom on the inside. That's what off-grid became to me.
Living off-grid has taught me so many lessons. I basically started from just being a skate rat. Between 2010 and 2016, I lived in 5 different vans, traveled all around the US and even parts of Central America. And when I met my partner, Nicole, we moved out to a 180-acre property in Northern California. But unfortunately, the wildfires of 2016 came through, and we were literally homeless overnight. So at first, we tried to go back into van life, although we didn't have vans anymore because I had bought a truck and Nicole had a Geo Tracker. And so we tried to live out of those vehicles with a dog. I worked really hard and I saved up money. And then eventually we decided, oh wait, we can move down to Southern California in the deserts where there's plenty of land for cheap. However, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. Eventually we did. We bought a piece of property out in the desert and we lived in a shipping container through the winter and into the summer. And we learned how harsh it was to live in the desert. Eventually, I bought and sold some real estate, made a little bit more money, and then bought another piece of land that had an abandoned house. That's this place. This place was completely overgrown by the desert, and it had been marauded by tweakers and scrappers, and everything was gutted, and even the doors were gone. It was in pretty rough condition, but I had a lot of motivation to do it. We lived in that Quonset hut for the first part of it while I was remodeling this place. We lived inside of that cab-over trailer that we actually dragged from our other property. I have a lot of good memories in here, and I had a lot of dreams of what this place could have been. Could have been a full-on skate park. I have a really crazy story. So in the first couple weeks that we were living here, we're sleeping in there, and about 3 in the morning, all of a sudden I hear a crash, a loud crash into this. And then I look out that window and I see this is bashed open and a truck has smashed into it. And there's somebody walking in. I see the silhouettes of somebody coming in. Turns out they're tweakers and they smashed into this. You could actually still see the dent. But what ended up happening was their truck broke down when it smashed in and they couldn't move it. We had like a 3-hour standoff. And we never caught them. Ended up putting us into a survival mode to where then we ended up building this fence. The original fence that was at this place was actually stolen by the tweakers. Probably the same tweakers as before. There goes the camera. So I set up a lot of security measures to survive out here.
When I built this fence, it wasn't just about keeping things out. It was about finally feeling safe enough to rest. Out here, the nights get quiet, but they never stop talking. Every sound reminds you how thin that line is between safety and solitude. I used to think freedom meant no barriers at all. Now I know real freedom is having enough peace to lower your guard.
It's now 5 years later, and things are going to be changing around here. Living out in the desert, living in California is no longer sustainable for us, so I'm going to take a giant leap. We got an offer on this place and we're actually going to end up selling it and moving. The person that I'm selling to it is a young couple, and I think they're truly going to appreciate this place. It seems like they're the perfect candidates. And unfortunately, sometimes when it comes to life, you have to evolve. And also, I would like to live into a climate where I can actually grow stuff and where there's trees. This climate will kill you over time.
I thought this land would be forever, but forever doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes it means letting go.
All right, we're getting there, just packing up. It's a lot of packing to do, and I'm also a crazy man for doing it all by myself in 2 or 3 days. I've been moving and packing my whole life. I gotta go pick up the U-Haul trailer and then also secure the storage unit. There's been a wave of theft out of all the storage units in the US, so let me show you what we got going on. I've tried to organize as much as possible. Boxes kind of perfectly organized. I am packing the storage unit. Back's already killing me, but we're gonna keep going. Storm brewing. I'm thrashed, but we're getting really close to the end here. Now I gotta do the Quonset hut. I already loaded up this couch by myself. Don't ask me how I did it. But today is the last night at the property, and then I gotta get moving.
Every move feels the same. Lift, pack, repeat. But this time it's different. It's not just boxes. It's the weight of everything I've built.
Okay, now to clear this out. This might be a little bit brutal. I'm gonna take that wheelbarrow, I'm gonna take this ladder, I'm gonna take some of these tools, but leave most of them. All right, I talked to the new owner, he's stoked. It's gonna be awesome for him. I put so much time and work and love into this house. When I first got here, these doors weren't even here. This place was completely open. There was like animals living in here and everything. Tweakers had probably been squatting in here for years. All the copper wiring was gone. We turned it into a home. We built memories here. But now we're moving on to a new chapter. Supposedly tomorrow the escrow closes. At one point we slept in this room. Now the roof's leaking though. You know, there is no water here. I have to haul in all of my own water. I put in all the drywall here. I put in the ceiling, built this kitchen, put in the flooring, did all the plumbing. That's a wrap on this power room. Gonna have to build another power room somewhere. And this place was awesome.
Every repair taught me patience. Peace doesn't come from perfect walls. It comes from doing your best with what's broken.
People who are buying this place are gonna get a lot of cool shit. Open the gate for the buyer to come in, and we'll give him the keys and let him have it. This is so beyond surreal. It's the end of an era for sure, but it's also the start of a new one. Me and my dad built those solar panels. This is the last load. Way too much stuff. Now off-grid in the Mojave Desert is officially over. All right, well that's a wrap.
When I finally locked that gate, it didn't feel like leaving a place. It felt like leaving a version of myself. Every board I cut, every wall I patched, every quiet night under these stars built something in me that I just didn't have when I first got here. This land taught me how to survive, but more importantly, how to start again. I don't know if I'll ever come back, but part of me will always live out here, somewhere between the wind, the dust, and the hard work. The rest of me, it's time to go find what's next. I left the gate behind, but not the lessons. The road ahead was already calling. I started pushing east through Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, skating, filming, and chasing the open skies the whole way. After a few weeks on the road, I put the truck in storage and flew to Estonia for Simple Session, skating inside a Soviet-era arena, exploring Viking history, and completely bombing the contest. But it was worth it. From there, I flew straight back to Florida for Swamp Fest. 2 days of humidity, chaos, and pure skate and BMX energy that's unlike anything else. Then I flew right across the sea back to Barcelona, one of the most iconic skate cities on earth, followed by Girona, where the old streets and architecture felt like another world. After Spain, I traveled across the Mediterranean to Egypt, skating near the pyramids, venturing deep into the Saharan desert, and later reaching the ancient Siwa oasis, swimming in emerald green salt baths and skating the ruins. Then I made it to Greece, Malta, Italy. Malta had this natural quarter pipe carved right into the rock by the ocean, and Italy was all about good food, ancient streets, and that timeless skate energy. On the way back to the States, I stopped in New York City, skating in Central Park and the outer boroughs, reconnecting with the roots of my street skating. When I finally returned to Florida, I was surprised by a flat tire and, of course, some engine trouble waiting for me in storage. I spent a bunch of money trying to fix it, not knowing what was still ahead. After that, I drove up the East Coast, picked up Skate Nomad, and we hit Jackalope Fest in Virginia Beach. A quick reunion and a wild few days of skating and community. After dropping him off, I kept driving north until I reached Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, a place that means a lot to me, well, kinda, and that's exactly where the truck broke down. It turned into weeks of repairs and setbacks, but eventually I ended up getting a new truck and starting over again, just like always, and spending most of my money. I stopped by Timberline Farms, then spent a few weeks in the Catskills working on a farm, camping out, and reconnecting with old friends from my childhood. From there, I went north into the Adirondacks, skating mountains, hiking, and trying to reset my head. Headed up to Canada, where of course I got denied, but then somehow managed to get the paperwork sorted out just in time to keep going. From there, I drove west through the Great Lakes, across the plains, through the Cowboy West, and into Yellowstone and then Montana, chasing sunsets and the big sky. Then I made it to Portland, drove down to my dad's in Southern Oregon, left the truck, and flew to Alaska, spending a full month exploring the interior, skating, and finally feeling what off-grid really means again. When I came back to Oregon, I spent time with my family, working some stuff out, and realizing just how far this whole journey has already taken me. If you've been following along, you've probably seen most of this unfold already, and if you haven't, all of these moments are right here on the channel, waiting to be discovered. That's everything for now, the road, the lessons, the people, and the moments in between, but this is not the end. There's something really big coming for you guys, something that ties all this together. I'm gonna share it next week. For now, thank you for being a part of this story, and just so you know, as you already know, every comment, every message, every bit of support helps keep this mission alive. The road is just beginning. See you in the next one.